Hi, and welcome to another episode of Parabola. In today's episode, I will be discussing The Running Man, a novel by Richard Bachman. If you are a Stephen King fan, you probably know and are aware that they are one and the same person. Richard Bachman was his pen name. He doesn't use it anymore as far as I know. It's a dystopian novel. Now, what would you do? What lengths would you go to if your daughter or your child is extremely sick and about to die unless you get them the right medication, and the right medication is only available to the privileged because it's so expensive that the regular person cannot afford it? That's the story of Ben Richards. Living in a time where there's all kinds of TV shows that allow the blue-collar man to make money by participating in this horrific game shows where they could die. However, if they win, they have access to all this money that would help their family. So Ben Richards finds himself in the situation where he goes to the show or to the network and applies to be part of a show. Now, Ben Richards is this really interesting character. He's very sardonic and disillusioned with life. He loves his family and he would do anything to help her daughter who is extremely sick from pneumonia. I believe it was pneumonia or bronchitis or a lung disease. The air is very dangerous. It causes cancer on people. A lot of people are dying from the pollution in the air. And of course, the more privileged people have this nose filters that allows them to survive all these diseases. So he decides to participate in the show, and obviously the game is rigged, but he doesn't really know that at first. He applied for one show, but then they decided to use him for a different, more deadly show, or deadlier show. And he didn't really know exactly what it entailed, but basically he has to run away. I mean, that's the name, The Running Man. He has to keep on running so they don't catch him, because as soon as they catch him, they kill him. If he does win, he wins, I guess, the equivalent of millions of dollars to provide for his family. So for him, it's a no-brainer because he was fired from his last job. The book takes us into a journey where he's running away. He meets some interesting people, some who help him, some who don't. I'm not going to tell you the end, obviously, but it's a very, I guess in a way, satisfying novel, depending on what your cup of tea is. If you like dystopian stories that have a little bit of a thriller and horror added to it, you might like this, The Running Man. Now, if you're thinking of the movie, because maybe you watched the movie back in the day, don't even, because they have nothing to do with each other. So as the book, I would really recommend it. It's not a very thick book. I guess it was over 200, maybe 300 pages. But it's a really quick read. It grabs you. And I've said this before, it's just the nature of the way that King writes. If you like that kind of plot, if you like that kind of stories, definitely read it. I would recommend it. The movie.
In the year 2017, an innocent man accused of a crime has a choice: hard time or prime time.
Sensational. Perfect contestant. I want him.
He must pay or play the running man.
On your mark.
I'll be back.
Go!
The highest rated TV show in history.
Guess they want us to stay.
It's a game between life and death. Can you lift? Arnold Schwarzenegger is the Running Man. He's playing for a prize. The prize is his life.
How about the light?
The Running Man.
Yeah, so the movie, complete shit, okay? The movie was so bad. I think I saw it when I was a child, but of course I rewatched it so that I would be able to have it fresh in my memory to compare it with the book. Honestly, the only thing that they have in common is that it's about a game show and his name is Ben Richards. Everything else, they just completely changed. They lost the point of the novel. It loses the integrity of the story. The characters is like characters are not even there. In the book, he's married, and that's why he enters into the contest. In the movie, it's a completely different story. He's not even married, and Schwarzenegger couldn't have been the worst actor to portray Ben Richards. I mean, I don't have anything against Schwartzy. I kind of like the guy, but he was such a cliche because also it was after the Terminator movies. So they really milk that with him where he appears in movies. And I don't know if you're familiar with his movies, but in a lot of the roles he's done since the Terminator, he always says, "I'll be back." And it's a cliche. The title, they kept the title. Everything else, the movie was terrible. Even if it had nothing to do with the book. Sometimes you watch a movie, like when I was discussing Stardust, they took a lot of creative liberties, they changed a lot of things, but the movie's still fun to watch. But The Running Man, nah, absolutely not. It's, I mean, when I finished watching it, I was thinking, is this really based on that book? How, I mean, were they reading the same book that I was reading? Yeah, skip the movie, watch the book. Also, fun fact about the book, Stephen King wrote this in a week. I mean, this man is so prolific. I'm in awe. I swear, like, whatever you think about Stephen King, he definitely is a very creative man. Especially if you've read some of his things, like some of the ideas he gets. I don't know how he does it. Anyway, that's my take on The Running Man. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I'll be back next week with more episodes. Have a great day and take care. Thank you for watching.